Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today's video, we're going to be doing a complete cooling system on my OBS LS swap Chevy truck. So that entails of a brand new radiator. It's going to be a bone stock radiator that originally came in this truck. And the only reason I'm going that route is because of the budget. Of course, I want a big, expensive aluminum 3-4 core radiator, but that's just not in the budget right now. And these things tend to get out of hand very quickly. I'm also using a used set of junkyard fans and a relay box I picked up from Amazon. So let's quit wasting time, guys. Let's get into it. All right, guys, we got a brand new radiator that we're going to be installing with the radiator fans. So this is just a stock radiator. Ta-da! Brand new radiator. So we're gonna mock this up real quick. This again, this is just a stock unit. This is good for the V6, 5.0, 5.7. What is that? It's just a stock radiator. Nothing special. All right, guys, as you can see, I wanted to go with the stock radiator only because of the fitment and the price point. This thing was very cheap. This thing was like 80 bucks shipped to my house, but it utilizes a stock isolator, so I don't have to adjust anything. And it's just a stock radiator. It fits on the 6-cylinder, the 4.3, 5.0, and 5.7. It's a universal radiator that goes in all the OBS Chevys. So we need to fit the top portion so it doesn't move on the top. So I have the old fan shroud that I had from my when it was a 4.3 liter. So let me flip this over. I had to dig this out of the back, but it has the isolators right here, one right there and one right there. So I'm just going to cut a straight line all the way across, and I'm just going to use this as a template. It's very old and ugly, so we're going to try to do something a little bit better. And all I'm simply going to do is cut a straight line all the way across with my grinder. Hopefully that works out. All right, it's split apart. Throw that away. So these again just have the little isolators on both sides, and mount them where they're supposed to be located. And this holds the radiator in place. So that sits just like that, and the radiator won't go anywhere. But of course, make sure you put all your bolts in. Just snug for now. And that fits perfect. Perfect. So you can see here, the radiator doesn't move anywhere. It's nice and tight, nice and sturdy. It's not going anywhere. Let me get the fans put in or mocked up real quick. And we gotta loosen these up. So these look like they'll mount up pretty much flush. So I'll give you a better view of it. All right, this is the top view. So with a little bit of trimming, these work pretty much perfect. It looks like I have to trim the bottom tabs just for it to fit flush, but we'll do that real quick. This tab here for it to fit flush, and it pretty much fits perfect on this radiator, which is kind of strange because this truck was never meant to have an electric fan. This always had the crank driven or water pump driven big fan. So we also have to trim it here. So I'm going to cut these off and hopefully it fit flush then, and we got to mount it back in the truck. All right guys, I've already cut off the tabs on both sides just so I could get past those little points that were stopping us. And now I think recessed in there. Now it sits pretty much flush. It's like a perfect fit. So to hold this in place, you have the lower bracket that it slides into, so that's not going anywhere, but we have to mount it somehow from the top. So I'll just drill a screw in here. So I just put one screw in here and it holds the top portion of it, and then the bottom is held in by that little flange on the bottom, but everything fits very, very tight. All right guys, after everything's put back together, we just got to put the top cap on just to retain the radiator and also hold the fans as well. So I'll show you that next, again with the isolators on each side. And this was the original fan shroud that we cut out of the truck. So one there. And it should slide just into place. Okay, and as you can see, these fans work out perfect. They're basically the exact dimensions that you need to run a stock radiator on an OBS with the LS swap. So these work out perfect. These trucks were never meant to have electric fans, but the fan shroud worked out perfect. It's very sturdy. It's not going anywhere. And then next up, we just gotta plug these in. We gotta do some quick wiring. I got a little relay box from Amazon, which we'll go through next. Now we're on to the fuse box to control your actual fans. So this I picked up from Amazon. It's very inexpensive, very cheap unit. So basically it has 2 relays and about 6 different fuses, but I plucked them all out, and I'm going to only be using the 2 relays, and I don't care to use any of the other ones other than the ones controlling the relays. You can piggyback other items if you choose to do so. In my situation, I didn't want to use this for anything other than just to control the fans. So I'll show you how I wired this up. Originally this comes with the little loom. You can see it's very cheap, so it just slides off. And then it also comes with all these. So I'll give you a better, closer look at it. So it comes configured almost like this, but it does have these connecting to each one of the other fuses that I plucked out, just because I'm not going to be using these. So these are trash to me. They're no good. So I also took out the ground, which also went plugged in. So this is also trash. The only ones I kept from this original unit were the red ones to power. I added my own 2 wires to control each fan. I have a red wire for the gray wire with the red stripe, and I have a yellow wire for the gray wire with yellow stripe. So fan 1, fan 2, and then these are the actual power wires that go directly to the fans. So I'll show you how this is configured. Keep in mind, this is just a box. I rigged this up. I left these other ones in line because I was just too lazy to take them out, and they're also intertwined with the power wires. So in the future, if I want to use the relays for something else, or the fuses for something else, I can piggyback off this unit, which I do not think I'll be doing. This is just strictly for my fans, and this is the cheapest option I could find. So this is the way I configured it. So just the 2 relays, kept those in line, and 2 fuses, inline fuses. So I'll give you a quick example here. This diagram I made up on the computer, and I decided to share it with you guys, but this works out perfect for if you're running a Holley Terminator X or X Max, whatever you're running. But this is fan 1, fan 2, positive and negative for each side, and the positive trigger being the bigger yellow wire runs to pin 87. The pin 30 and pin 86 are intertwined with a fuse also in line, and those go directly to a 12-volt positive. And then we have pin 85, which in this case would be the gray with yellow stripe wire, and that's the ground trigger for your actual Terminator. And then the same thing goes on the other side, and the only difference is the gray with red stripe, and that would be the trigger wire. And again, these are ground triggers, not positive triggers, not switch triggers. These are both ground triggers. So this is the way I configured it. I'll be quiet so you guys could take a quick snapshot if you need to. This is correct. I've already checked it, ran it. It works out perfect. And then I'll go on to the next. This I also made up. This is a schematic for my relay box. So this being the back of the relay box. So as you can see, if I turn this over and turn it like this, that's how you should be looking at this. So you have all the pins in the correct orientation. And then if you come to the other side of the page, the relay box will be configured like this. So I'll give you a quick rundown. Again, we're only using the 2 relays and 2 fuses, inline fuses, but I'll give you a quick example. So I just labeled these as 1 and 2. So relay 1 for fan 1, relay 2 for fan 2. So real quick on fan 1, both of the pin 30 and pin 86, the big red wires connect directly to a 12-volt battery source. That's pretty common. It also already comes loomed that way when you get it with this little eyeball hook thing. So that works out perfect in my case. And then we have pin 85, which goes, this is the small yellow wire that connects to the gray wire with yellow stripe, and this is the ground trigger for fan number 1. That would be the ground trigger. And I just simply I have these old like relay connectors laying around. I always have some of these, but I depinned a few of these. I took out the yellow wire and the red wire just to make things simple for me, and kind of doesn't let me forget. So the gray with yellow stripe and the gray with red stripe. So I depinned one of these and just plugged it directly into my relay box. So again, that controls, that's a fan trigger. And then you have, I think that's it. On the other side, of course, same exact configuration, except for you have the small red wire with that connects to the gray wire with red stripe, and that's the ground trigger for fan number 2. So I'll be quiet. And again, a quick notation on this, back of the relay box. So very important, back of the relay box, the way it's configured. And then this would be the front of the relay box, just how it's configured. Right there. And then very important, quick notation, fuse slots 1, 3, 4, 6 will not be used. Only slots 2 and 5 are needed. and that's simply because I didn't want this to run anything else other than just my fans. It's pretty small. It's not the best looking box. It is the cheapest box I found. This is like the Amazon China Boy special. It comes with a little cover, so it looks pretty. Once it's plugged in, I'll show you guys on the truck how it looks. It looks almost factory. But this is a nice little addition. I do have like I was gonna originally go with something like this, like a regular relay, put an inline fuse in there, and then just bolt it onto the firewall. I hate how this looks. This just looks terrible to me. So that's a no-go for me. This was a much better solution. There was better options out there. They were just a lot more expensive than I wanted to pay. They were close to the $100 range, which this shipped to my house from Amazon, 23 bucks. 23 bucks. I changed a few of the wires, configured them a little bit differently, and made it my own. So this works out perfect. I'm going to put some Alex Tech, some little shrink sleeving on it, and that should work out perfect for me. Okay, this is my Holley Terminator manual. So right here, this is for, what is it called? These outputs are located on the input-output connector, which is this one. This is just the actual harness that kit came with. So you have to depin these. So very quickly, it says electric fan number 1 output. The output is provided by the ground output trigger relay used for the cooling fan. This output should never be directly connected to the fan, but the relay that powers the fan. It should be connected to the ground trigger to the relay. This wire is located on pin E of the 8-pin output connector, and it is a gray with yellow stripe wire. So originally, I've already depinned this, but this would be the 8-pin connector. Let me see if you can catch it on camera. But this one here on the end is pin E. And the one next to it is pin F. So that's the only 2 ones you need. Again, it says for the pin E, it's a gray wire with yellow stripe. Which this other part of the connector is actually like a waterproof safety plug, which I just unplugged it and actually depin this. I didn't want to use this big old bulk of harness of wires that I didn't need to use. I just need to connect the fans, and that was it. So I'll save this for a later date. But I just used the 2 wires, pin E and pin F. So again, the gray wire with the yellow stripe, and then the gray wire with the red stripe. And I just loom these so I can hook these up. Let me show you. Let's go to the vehicle and let me show you how they get connected in. Alright guys, this is the 8-pin connector that they're talking about. So this is my other part of the pigtail, and this just clips in. And then I'll throw it behind the engine. And this will simply come out on the other end right here. So again, this would be the gray with red stripe and gray with yellow stripe, and those go directly into the 2 wires that are already designated, the yellow and the red. And then of course we have our 12-volt battery source, which there's a fuse box here that originally sits here. That's part of the original truck, so it's perfect the way it sits here. I just drilled a couple holes, mounted it to the firewall, so it sits there. And then I have my fans already wired up, and I already loomed them and did everything I had to do. You have fan 1, fan 2 over there. You see the loom, and these are just grounded to a good ground source. So you come to the front of the truck, and this would be the ground for the fans, and then the positive just runs all along the inner fender well here, and it goes directly to my fan. So I'll test one of these out, and again, you got to keep in mind this is a ground triggered relay. So this wire is already grounded, and I'll give you a quick example how it works. You'll hear it click, and you hear the fan turn on. That's off. And off, obviously. And on. And of course, this does have a little cover, so it looks like looks like it kind of belongs. This looks much better than having something like this stuck on the firewall, as you can see. So I chose this option. So yeah, guys, as always, let me know what you guys think. But we're all done with the fans, mocking them up anyway. I still got to get some hoses. I got one of them. I'm waiting on the other one. Still got to do some exhaust work and a few other things. All right, guys, that's going to be a wrap for this one. As you saw in the video, I completed the cooling system in my OBS LS swapped C1500 truck. So that being said, the parts I use in this video, I'll link everything in the description box below. The only thing I can't link is the electric fans. These electric fans are perfect for this truck and this platform. This is a bone stock radiator. It fits in, it originally came in the 4.3, 5.0, and 5.7. So it fits on all platforms. Also uses a stock location. And as you saw, I cut off the fan shroud and bolted everything up. It is a perfect dimension fit for this. And it's also, it's perfect. There's nothing else to say. I wouldn't go with any other way with an electric fan on this, but it's also very inexpensive. So that fan comes, it's a dual fan. It comes off a 2003 to 2006 Chrysler Pacifica, which is like a smaller, older SUV. It is an original fan to that vehicle, but it's a Denso fan, which is a good OEM fan. And also the wiring, I think, is the hard part on this. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Of course, if you have any questions on the wiring, that was basically the hard part. The easy part was the installation of the radiator and the fans. That was pretty basic and simple. The hard part on this is just the relay box, which there is better options out there that I would like to go with. They were just, again, out of my price range. Way too much. So in total, I spent about $80 for a brand new radiator from Amazon. I spent $23 for the relay box from Amazon, and I had a set of used Chrysler Pacifica 2003 to 2006 electric fans, which ran $60. So that's the cheapest way I could get this up and running. And I just made that relay box kind of my own. And I also showed the wiring diagram. If you need that wiring diagram, it will be on my Instagram. So make sure you comment, like, share, and subscribe. As always, also follow me at Low Life Yonquez, somewhere here, there, anywhere. And I'll catch you very shortly on the next one.